What are we going to start World War III over Syria?
Well, half of you are going to absolutely hate me, whatever I say, so here goes. But for a start, I saw this coming. A month ago, I tweeted this. If there's one area Trump will fuck up, it will be in foreign policy. Half of his advisors are CFR globalists. That swamp was not drained. So here's a list of people and entities who support Trump's airstrike on Syria. Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, Lindsey Graham, John McCain, Nancy Pelosi, Angela Merkel, the mainstream media.
They are beautiful pictures.
Neocons, and ISIS. You have to admit that's not great company to keep. And you can argue, as people have, that this is 4D chess, that Trump is engaging in a show of strength to humiliate Obama over his red line and dismantle claims that he's conspiring with the Russians. But those same Russia-obsessive people are now attacking Trump because he gave Putin an hour's advance warning. You're never gonna please these people, so why pander to them? But beyond the theories, here's the reality. That airbase that Trump just bombed was protecting a nearby Christian town from being overrun by jihadists. The predominantly Christian city of Mardeh in northern Hama has been under attack by rebels every day. Crippling the Syrian army in that region has now made it all but inevitable that that town will be overrun and occupied by jihadist rebels. The airstrike directly helped jihadist rebels and put Christians at risk. Now, to be clear, the chemical weapons attack was infinitely worse than Trump's airstrike in terms of human tragedy. This was a horrific event. Children died, and we're not disregarding the scale of the horror by questioning who was responsible. Killing children is dreadful, but no one seemed to care when children were killed during a US military raid in Yemen. But we've just been told to swallow the Assad did it explanation provided by the White Helmets, an organisation many have accused of having direct ties with the rebels, with no impartial investigation whatsoever, despite the fact that we know rebels possess chemical weapons, and we know they were almost certainly behind the 2013 chemical weapons attack in Ghouta, despite the fact that Assad and Syria supposedly gave up their chemical weapons. And why would Assad launch a completely self-defeating chemical weapons attack less than a week after Rex Tillerson had said that regime change was no longer on the agenda?
I think the status and the longer term status of President Assad will be decided by the Syrian people.
Why would Assad infuriate the world by gassing women and children when ISIS are on the run and on the verge of being defeated? It makes absolutely no sense. But now T-Rex says that regime change is back on the table.
The process by which Assad would leave is something that I think requires an international community effort, both to first defeat ISIS within Syria, to stabilize the Syrian country, to avoid further civil war, and then to work collectively with our partners around the world through a political process that would lead to Assad leaving.
So will you and President Trump organize an international coalition to remove Assad?
Those steps are underway.
Okay, so defeat ISIS and then topple Assad, so that ISIS can then come back and take over the country. Great idea! Here's what can't be denied. Destabilizing secular regimes in the Middle East, whatever the reason given, has always proven disastrous. Iraq, Libya, Syria. It led to hundreds of thousands of dead and displaced people. Dead US troops, more global terrorism, a refugee crisis, the rise of ISIS. And those of you who think this is a one-off limited strike are being incredibly naive. Tillerson said it's about regime change, and given what happened last night, you can bet they're going to follow through on their word. Regime change means more death, more chaos, a vacuum filled by jihadists, more terrorism, more refugees. We've been down this road before. This is what Trump said in 2013. Don't attack Syria, an attack that will bring nothing but trouble for the US focus on making our country strong and great again. So what happened to that? When did it stop being about America first? Crooked Hillary Clinton's foreign interventions unleashed ISIS in Syria, Iraq and Libya. She is reckless and dangerous. And this intervention helps ISIS. It helps the jihadist rebels. It helps Al-Qaeda. They're all out celebrating it. Hillary Clinton called for it in the first place. Look, this is what Trump campaigned against. This is one of the main reasons why you voted for him, to stop the US becoming entangled in Middle Eastern quagmires. And I know there's a huge portion of you out there who will completely disagree with me and who will support Trump whatever he does. But I think there's a real chance that Trump has been surrounded and manipulated by neocons and the deep state. I mean, just look at his foreign policy advisors. Half of them, at least half of them, are Council on Foreign Relations members. They're globalists. But even so, I still think there's time to reach out to Trump and let him know that he's following a disastrous course. If Trump vehemently indicates that he won't bow to pressure to impose no-fly zones and initiate regime change, then that will be a positive development. So let's keep the dialogue open. Let's not jump down each other's throats. And let's try to avoid another catastrophe in the Middle East. Click the link below to subscribe to the channel, and for more breaking news go to Infowars.com. The Making of the President 2016, how Donald Trump orchestrated a revolution. This is the untold story of how Trump defied all the odds to win the presidency. From former Trump confidant Roger Stone, the inside scoop of how Trump rocked the establishment. Get your signed copy of The Making of the President right now at InfoWarsStore.com.